Hey guys, it's Big Mike. Hope everyone's doing well today. So today we've got Velocity of Futures, who is bringing along CQG, and Velocity is going to very briefly talk about how you can get CQG through their brokerage and some of the other features on their brokerage, and then we'll turn things over to CQG, and Kevin at CQG is going to focus primarily on the CQG Spreader. He's going to talk about the sophisticated order management. He's going to give you some working examples and energy and foreign exchange and some of the equity indices. He's also going to do a little bit of demo charting and some of the analytics that you can get in CQG. And of course, there's a Q&A. So if you have questions for Velocity, if you have questions for CQG, then just type them into the question box and they'll be shown to the presenters, and they'll try to answer them the best they can. All right, guys, as always, the webinar is recorded, so if you missed something, you can always go back, and I'll post it sometime tomorrow on the website. And give me just 1 minute, and I'll be turning things over to Bob.
I believe that does it. If you can't hear me, Mike, get on and let me know. But thanks everyone to coming on to the webinar today. This is Bob Kretschmer. I'm with Velocity Futures, and we appreciate you being here. We appreciate, of course, Kevin Falkman joining us today as well to give you the demonstration of the CQG functionality, specifically the CQG Spreader. I'm very excited to see this. So. We'd also like to thank Big Mike for hosting us and getting us together as always. So just a quick rundown of today's agenda. I'm going to very briefly be going over some of Velocity's features and systems and services. We'll follow that up with a brief Q&A, and I want to keep both the presentation and the Q&A brief so we can get to Kevin's discussion, the reason we're all here. And Kevin will be going over some of CQG's advanced functionalities, as I said, including the spreader. He'll also follow up with a Q&A session, so you can either type them in as the session is going on or afterwards. It's up to you, but I'll probably wait until after we're done before I start addressing any of your questions. So with that, let's get started. Just one quick note, some of the data on several of the screenshots here has been altered for compliance purposes, so please don't try to use this for any real-time world decisions or anything like that. I'll be using screenshots from both our customer portal and our website, which is tradewithvelocity.com for the presentation. You can visit the website for detailed information, of course, whenever you'd like, or I'll follow up with some contact information afterwards, and you can feel free to call, email, or IM in to us if you have any specific questions or what have you. Velocity is a full-service futures commission merchant. We were founded in 2002. Our client base ranges from active traders to hedge funds, professional trading groups, and introducing brokers. Last year, on average, we processed over 320,000 contracts per day for our client. And as of July of last year, we processed our 400 millionth contract for our clients. We've been on Futures Magazine's top 50 listing for FCMs for the last 4 years. And in September, we finally posted over $100 million in client funds held for the first time in our monthly report that we file with the CFTC. We are a technology-based firm, and we've been this way since the start. This has allowed us to provide our clients with cutting-edge tools and great service and still maintain our very competitive pricing. This is a shot of our commissions tab on the website. We post all of our commissions out there for you to see. As you can see, they're clearly posted along with margin requirements and contract specification links. To each contract's commissions are broken down by product, then by volume tiers, platforms, and for the various exchange memberships if you have a membership or you're looking to get one. To that point, we have a membership desk that here is to assist you in looking at The possibility of getting a membership, is it worth it to you? We can kind of assess your trading and let you know how much you can save by being a member. And if you do decide to either lease or buy a membership, we can take care of going out there and finding the lease for you and getting everything taken care of. Throughout the site, there are links like this that take you to our online account forms. We've made it very, very efficient, very easy to open up an account. As soon as you complete the app, you're immediately assigned an account number, and you're automatically logged into our customer portal, which will walk you through the required compliance documents that you can upload right there online. And it also gives you wire instructions so you can fund the account. So it's all very easy and quick to open an account. As I mentioned, each of our clients have free access to this portal. It's a multi-purpose, secure client portal, and I'm going to go over a couple screenshots of this just to show you some of its functionality. Let's see, this is the home page that you're looking at right now, and from here you can quickly review and manage your account and much more. From the home page, you can quickly see real-time positions, P&L history, account balances, net liquidity, monthly and annual contract volume totals, as well as year-to-date net profit and loss curve there in the bottom left-hand corner. You can quickly access statements through the portal as well. You can get trade records. You can view them online, or you can download them if you wish. Down in the right-hand corner, you can access the banking functionality that allows you to wire money in and out directly to the portal, or move it from account to account if you have multiple accounts or what have you, or convert currencies. Portal is also where you'll receive exchange, platform, and other messages directly from us. They'll all pop up right there in your portal. So, most of our clients log onto our portal on a regular basis for all these reasons. Now, each of these sections on the home page can be expanded to view their full functionality. I left a lot of the functionality out in order to save time to get to the CQG demonstration, but I'll briefly cover just two of the functions that I think you'll find very interesting. The Reports tab provides several useful and customizable charts and graphs that allow you to analyze your own trading. Each has a customizable date range and can be exported to a PDF. Each of these reports are displayed on separate pages, but I put them all here just so you can review them quickly. The top left is the simple P&L curve. You saw that on your front page, but this one you can put your date ranges in, as I had mentioned. Top right graph is your daily contract volume, again, for any date range you want. The bottom left of the two are pie charts that give you percentage breakdowns of your winning versus losing trades. It's on the left, I believe. And on the right is long winning trades versus short winning trades, which kind of give you an idea if you're better on the long or the short end of the trade there. The bar chart at the bottom right is your profit and loss by hour of the day. I find this one fairly interesting. You can chart this over a very long period of time and then get a real good idea. Not in all cases, but in a lot of cases you can get a real good idea of where you're losing or making your money. I mean, in this chart right here, it's obvious that this person is successful in trading in the morning and then gives away profits later in the day. Something I find very useful. Not shown here on the charts are gross profit per trade you can get a chart of, and downloadable records showing all your trades, fee breakdowns, P&L by trade, start of day and end of day positions, all kinds of useful information. Now, in the interest of time, I won't go into detail of these, but it can be very useful when you're trying to analyze your trading habits. The leaderboard you see here is our most popular portal feature, and you can see as of January 11th, there were 982 people, clients, that had opted in to the shared community. As a client, you can anonymously opt in by using an alias and gain access to view the other clients' trading information as well. The leaderboard ranks traders by their gain and loss on the day. It displays the current day's trade data, including the products they're trading, their current day's gains or losses broken down by open, closed positions, as well as their combined net. On the right, you'll see their ranking by the day, of course, as I had mentioned, but you can also get the ranking by the month-to-date and year-to-date rankings. So this will allow you to track the most consistent traders in the group, and you won't have to worry about so much, is this person just having a really good day, or are they someone that's more consistent that I should be keeping an eye on? The leader in each category will be highlighted in green, as you can kind of see up here, and you, if you do appear on the leaderboard, will be highlighted in blue. This is the laggard board, same thing as leaderboard, but on the other end of the GL spectrum. Hopefully you don't see yourself on here, but again, you'll see yourself highlighted in blue if you are. This next screen shows ranking by product. The left, if it's left unfiltered, it shows the largest gains in any single product by a particular trader and works its way down. You can see the drop down there, and if you choose one of the contracts on the drop down, you'll now get a ranking by trader in just that contract. The last two pages are graphs and charts that display the whole group and their overall performance on the day. The pie charts show the percentage of traders that are up, down, and flat. The top set is all the products, and the bottom two sets are broken down by product. I think you can pull up the 8 most popular product, which pretty much covers about 95% of the trading that's going on. The top set, let's see. I think the difference between the two on the top and the bottom is that the bottom set of 3 are weighted by volume. So those traders that do a lot of volume have a larger weight in the pie chart. This is combined with the next page here, and it can give you a good look at how the group is doing on the day. The top section there is excellent for getting a real quick look at each contract and if, as a group, they're making money or losing money or kind of in between on the day in that particular product. So it's helpful to kind of quickly find the hot products that's going on. Due to the popularity with clients, we're working on expanding this type of community ecosystem, and we'll be coming out with more functionality very soon. Group positions, tracking, chat features, there's 2 of the things that we're working on. We'd like, if you are a client, you can certainly put in your input. Each one of these, I think on the previous screen, you can see, let's see. Back here on the left, you can see that red feedback button that you can click and send your feedback or comments or something that you'd like to see anytime you want. So let's move on. Including CQG, Velocity offers 6 trading platforms from which to choose, and you can choose CQG or any of these during the account opening process. One of the steps is to choose your trading platform. Several of the platforms, including CQG Trader, are offered for free. The fee for CQG Integrated Client, which is needed for the spreader functionality, is obtained directly through CQG. We also provide free real-time data simulators for all 6 platforms if you want to try out one of the platforms before you commit, or if you want to just take a look at all of them. So lastly, I'd like to mention our data and network and hosting services. As far as our infrastructure, we maintain a world-class data center in Chicago, Houston, and Frankfurt. Our networks use Tier 1 carriers exclusively, and we utilize self-optimizing routing technology that's designed to eliminate bottlenecks. We provide hosting facilities with rack space in the Equinix data center next to the CME for black box latency sensitive trading. And because we are dedicated to providing our clients with the fastest market connections, we're spending the time and money to add our second Chicago data site in the CME's new data center in Aurora. This is the same building where the CME's matching engines will be hosted, and it's due to open in just a couple days on January 29th. So we're happy for that, as are our clients. So to finish, our support and trading desks are staffed with knowledgeable, helpful people to assist you. We use an automated phone system, actually, that clients find very useful, in that if you are calling in and you have an open trade or an open position, your call gets routed on top of anyone else that's in queue for, say, a sales call or is just calling for a general question. When you call in, we have caller ID that matches you up to your account. So by the time we answer the phone, most of the time we know who you are, what your position is, and you can quickly tell us what the issue is and what you need to have done, and we can react to it very quickly. So again, because you're here to see CQG and the spreader functionality, I covered just the basics. If you want to see more, you can visit the website, tradewithvelocity.com, or if you'd like to contact us, you can email us at the address right there, operations@velocityfutures.com. or call our 800 number at 490-9390. So that is it. I can open it up to some questions if you'd like. Again, I'd like to keep it pretty quick, but if there are no questions, we can move on very quickly. But if you do have some, you can pop them in right now.
Hey, Bob. Love the presentation. I had one question for you on the new Aurora data center.
Yes.
Any changes that we have to do on our side, or is that going to just be all transparent for us for the TT adapter or whatever?
No.
Okay.
If us means if you're using the trading platform, then one of the 6 trading platforms that we offer, then the answer is no. You don't need to do anything.
Okay.
The only people that really need to do anything are the people that are taking advantage of our co-location, generally black box latency sensitive traders that have their own hardware in our data center that are co-locating. And if they want, they can move to the Aurora data center.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. I believe I'm having some issues popping this thing out here, but there we go. Trying to see what that question is. Which platforms do you support? We have CQG, of course. We have XTrader, Ninja, QST, CQG, Sierra Chart. Is that 6? That's 6. Strategy Runner. I don't know how I got to 7. I miscounted it. Can you place orders right off the charts on any of the platforms? I do know that you can definitely do so on Sierra Chart. I'll let CQG answer to that on theirs, and I'm not sure about any of the others.
Yeah, you can do it on Ninja as well.
That it?
Yeah, and even you can do it on multi-charts.
You can do it on Ninja. Okay.
I know you guys don't officially list, but
right.
It can work.
Now, we don't officially, as Mike mentioned, good point, Mike, we don't officially list a lot of platforms, but we do support fixed connections. So if you have a proprietary trading system or you use another trading system that is not one of our 6 offered, we do have fixed services, so you can certainly program to that and go ahead and use the platform that you're on or your prop system.
Okay. Awesome. So if any other questions,
Mike, I think that's it.
Yeah, then
that was an easy one.
Yeah, I think you did a good job. All right, so give me just 1 second, and I'll be turning things over to Kevin for the CQG part. Hang on 1 second, guys.
Okay, guys. Hi, my name's Kevin. I'm with CQG. I'm one of the product specialists here at CQG. And just want to check before we go too far. Everybody can hear me okay? Okay, sounds like we can hear. And this is my Spreading 101 webinar. I'm going to discuss the CQG integrated client, specifically the CQG Spreader, some of the basic CQG functionality within Spreader, and in addition to that, some of the advantages of utilizing the CQG Spreader. In regards to the technology and some of the advantages of the CQG Spreader, CQG utilizes our Spreader core, which consists of CQG's co-located Spreader servers at the exchanges. And within this Spreader core, CQG utilizes proprietary algorithms to manage working legs of a spread. Essentially what this does is the spreader will only work orders based on the amount of volume that is available in the marketplace at any given time to help assure that the fills for your spreads will be optimal. Essentially what this does is it'll reduce the probability that you would get hung by monitoring the volume in a spread market and then allocating in a FIFO style those volumes to the working legs of any spread orders within our system. And I can explain that a little bit further if folks have questions near the end. In regards to another CQG advantage would be our network infrastructure. CQG's global network of trading gateways provides access to major exchanges around the globe. It's a fully hosted solution. Essentially, we manage all aspects of the technology so that your only focus needs to be on trading. This is a list of some of the exchanges that we provide connectivity in the spreader network. Now, in addition to these exchanges that are listed, we do have other exchanges that we pull market data for. And we also have some other exchanges that we just provide trade routing to but not spreading currently. This list of exchanges does continue to grow as time goes on, with one of our largest pushes recently into the PAC rim, into Asia. And just kind of going from the top here, cash treasuries, Cleos in New Jersey, co-located. That's with eSpeed. Again, another cash treasury venue, BrokerTec, NICAP. Located there in New Jersey, co-located. Going around the horn here in Tokyo, the OSE, the TOCOM, and the TSE exchanges. PACnet in Singapore, we've got the SGX. Down in Sydney, ASX and SFE exchanges. Moving up to Eurex, which is in Frankfurt. In Moscow, the RTS exchange. In the UK, we've got the Life exchange, Euronext exchanges, including Paris and Amsterdam. And then in London, we have the LME. In fact, we've even upgraded our connectivity to LME utilizing some newer protocols that LME have put out in the last few months. And up around the horn here to Toronto, where the TSX and the Bourse de Montreal. And of course, where I'm located here in Chicago, we have Globex, ICE, NYSE Life, CFE, and GovX is our third treasury venue. So you can see from our spreader network, give you connectivity all around the globe. Again, we manage the infrastructure, so all you worry about is the trading. And it provides you connectivity to also spread contracts against each other from these locations. Again, just mentioning the speed, it is co-located server-side logic that basically gives you an advantage in the marketplace and gives you an advantage in the server side because the spreader core essentially is constantly monitoring these markets. Your logic sits server-side for these spreads. And due to the close proximity of the spreader core to the exchanges, it essentially allow order modifications and execution of your balancing orders, or second leg essentially, to occur in less than a millisecond, which means premium placement in the order queues for your working legs. This gives you a huge advantage of client-side solution. Now here's a client-side solution. Essentially, what we're looking at is market data coming into a desktop application from an exchange. Client-side logic would provide the logic within a spread function, let's say, and then that logic would have to be communicated back to an exchange, and you can see essentially from this visual how much latency is involved with that desktop application and that client-side logic. Now with CQG's server-side logic, these orders are processed in less than a millisecond. The CQG spreader core sits proximal to the exchanges, so your logic actually sits on our spreader core. Okay, we're monitoring market data, let's say in a two-legged spread, very close to the exchange, and we're able to, once you're filled in the primary leg, send in a balancing order in most markets, and of course market activity, volatility and such has an effect on this, but in less than a millisecond. So for this presentation, just strictly due to the time of day, we've created a recording of a workspace that I was previously traded on. Essentially what I'm going to show is how to create and chart a spread strategy. We're also going to analyze a spread strategy. We're going to show how we can utilize the CQG system to incorporate custom analytics onto a custom strategy that I'm going to create, and then trade the strategy. We're going to trade the strategy based upon our specific criteria, which can be configured within the CQG Spreader system. And now in front of us we've got a recording of a previous trading session. And I'm going to walk through this with you and explain some of the things that we'll see here on the screen. Essentially what we've got is this very simple workspace. As we see here, I've got a quote spreadsheet. This is a list of all the contracts that I'm going to be looking at. In the middle here, I've got the order ticket, and I've got a second order ticket off to the right. Down below there, I've got a chart of the E-mini December contract outright. And as well, I've got a chart of the synthetic strategy in this case. You can graphically see my spread strategy in the chart. Coming back to the quote spreadsheet here, I've just listed out some contracts. Here titled in the equity index heading, including a spread strategy that I've pulled in here. We can see the DEES in March, E-mini contracts, the DAX, below there listing the energy contracts. I've got a couple crude oil contracts, Jan and Feb. I have a crude calendar listed. I have also another strategy which looks at the CLE and the WTI as an arbitrage strategy. And I'm also looking at another strategy I created looking at the dollar index against crude oil. In the currency section, we've got the very popular currencies listed there, including the pound, Canadian, Japanese yen, euro. And just as an example to show you how I can pull data from other exchanges as well, there's some TOCOM, got the gold and the oil contracts. And from Sydney, pulling in the 3-year Australian bonds. And from SGX, we have the Nikkei. Moving out a little bit further here, we're going to discuss how we can pull from the quote spreadsheet the outright contract, that's the December E-mini S&P contract. And what I've done is I've linked the quote spreadsheet to a trading interface such that with one quick click onto this Excel-styled spreadsheet, I can have that in focus. Again, with a simple click here, I get the euro currency up. And you'll notice that I've also linked it to the chart below. So quickly with one click, I can get to that euro currency, see the current market on it. And as we see below, I also have a 5-minute bar chart for that. I've done this through the linking functionality within the CQG windows. This really creates kind of an efficient workspace. It allows us to put a lot of information in a very small space. Moving along now, we're going to take a look at how we're going to create a spread. I can create a spread using a formula. Basically, I'll just give a formula name here. We're building this as one of our Q formulas. Q formula is essentially like a quick formula. So I created a new quick formula or Q formula called test spread. In terms of the coding or anything like that, essentially I'm just going to type in the word spread. A couple examples populate. I've got an example of heating oil and crude above there, and another example of all the operators that could go into the spread function. In this case, I'm looking at the December euro currency against the March euro currency. You can see our systems go out there and grab the market data, gives us a value preview of where that strategy is trading at now. I make a mental note. I've just created a new product essentially called Q34. I'm going back into my quote spreadsheet. See how easy this is to pull in the trade information. Here, now test spread appears. And with clicking on this new strategy that I've created, Q34, we can see that it brings that spread information into a tradable interface. And in addition, we also get the market data for that spread to appear just below that trading interface. From here, we're going to take a look at the parameters that will be within this spread function. This opens up the setup trading parameters, which will allow us to configure the aspects of this synthetic spread, including any overfill management, being able to auto-hedge any overfills or avoid overfills, how the spread balancing legs will actually be calculated, whether you want to choose the current market price or any average price you've built into. Under how to work, we can set our trade ratios. In this case, it's a 1-by-1 spread. I'm choosing to work the EU6H2 or the March. In this case, I was also looking to send in the balancing order as a market order. We have the ability to do a limit order, limit with an offset, which allows you to work edge-edge. We have some functionality within the setup parameters, like the volume multiplier we see here circled. It looks at the monitored market, in that case it's the December market, and I'm configuring this spread to basically look for 5 times my order size in the secondary market. Again, reduces your messaging and improves the probability that you will be even spread, missing any mishedges or hung. Working threshold is a figure that we can set that will actually turn the system on and off based on volume and the monitored market. It's essentially the on-off switch for your strategy. And minimum size increment, which basically tells our spread strategy not to react to any increase in the current market unless it's X or greater. Proportional execution as well tells our system to send in the balancing order after a certain percentage of your order has been filled. Queue holders allows us to stack the book. And then the if incomplete functionality, which I'm actually going to pause the video because I want to explain some of our if incomplete functionality. I think it's real important. Again, if incomplete is our terminology for what to do if you're hung, what to do if you're misbalanced, mishedged, or you missed the second leg or third leg or whatever it may be. Now, in terms of our if incompletes, I want to talk about some of the functionality that's within there. I'll make it sort of brief, but essentially you'll have to tell our system that you need to replace the hung order to complete the strategy by utilizing one of the methods that are below. We have the ability to build just pay-ups into a system. It'll replace the original limit order to complete the spread with a limit order that has a price adjusted based on the number of slip ticks, essentially. In addition to that, we have a timer which allows you to work that hung order at its original price level for X seconds. You can configure that. And if it's still incomplete after X amount of seconds, then it can pay up. We have the ability to trail the market with trailing limits. We have as well the ability to work edge-edge in the spread by setting an offset. That's great for guys who trade Eurodollars or great for guys who trade any pro rata matching exchanges. Allow you to work edge in the first leg and allow you to work edge in the second leg. I've even utilized it when I've traded corn. And in addition to working edge, you have the ability to monitor the depth of market volume to determine when to replace an order. It can be just a pure volume figure, which says essentially, you know, I want to work the offer, but only if the bid volume stays within X. If the bid drops below X, then hit the bid or attempt to hit the bid or trail the market. It can be based on a volume relative to your order size, or it could be based on the ratio between the best bid and offer. Again, we're looking at volumes. If you needed to sell the market and the bid was good for 20,000 and the offer was only 1,000, you'd feel great about that. Now, if that flipped, essentially if the ratio between the best bid and ask changed and the offer grew to 20,000 and the bid either traded or shaved down to 1,000, you would have to make a decision to complete your spread based on that information. The nice thing about the CQG spreader system is that you can configure all of these into your spread logic, again, which sits server-side before you actually place a trade. Moving along now from the recording, after I've configured the spread strategy, we are going to take a look at how this information actually populates this quote spreadsheet. Now here's my test spread. I've got last price column. I've configured a position column, any fills on the buy side, any fills on the sell side, and then another column which will show any incompletes or any hung orders in these markets. Bring that market data right into a trading interface, as we see here. And in addition, I get the strategy market data to appear in a chart. So that is the strategy that I built. That is the market data for those two legs. We actually go through back time and sales and build the relationships between those two legs. And that's what we see in that chart below. Moving on from there, I'm going to show how we can actually analyze spread strategy. In this case, I've added a study. It was a Bollinger Band study. So in a Bollinger Band study, we're going to have a high, a mid, which is blue, and a low level reported on the right-hand side of the chart. From this point, I can now take these high, mid, and low levels and essentially overlay these onto the trading interface. In addition to the Bollinger Band study, in this video I've also added the study called Order Display. Order Display is nice because it'll actually show me any working orders at the levels that I'm working them on the chart. And in addition, it will also show me any previous fills I have on the buy side and on the sell side, which appear by default as small triangles, so I can actually look throughout the trading session and see where I'm getting into these spreads and where I'm getting out of these spreads. Next thing I'm doing here is I'm actually taking these levels now, and I'm choosing to show those values, lower level, the mid, and the upper level of this Bollinger Band study, on the trading interface. So we can see now that lower, mid, and upper level now coming into the trading interface, and of course that these studies are going to update dynamically, and as the market data changes throughout the trading session, so will the study levels on the trading interface. From here, I'm able to actually float orders or work orders essentially based on the analytics. So as you see here, higher level coming in at -10. I'm working an offer there. We see the Bollinger Band information also populating and the order working because I'm also showing the study working orders or order display. So I can quickly build a strategy. I can quickly chart that strategy. I can utilize some of the canned studies as we see here, the Bollinger Band study, to essentially build a mean reversion type model where I'm now going to work the lower level to buy. I'm going to work that upper level to sell. And my orders now sitting server side, co-located, will be updated and managed and actually moved or adjusted based on those analytics throughout that trading session. I haven't written any code to do this. Got orders in the market, and I'm trading a mean reversion type model. Moving along here, I may want to make some decisions based on this information that I'm pulling into the chart. I also may want to just be able to trade outrights. I have many, many other spreads that I've listed here. For example, quickly clicking on my quote spreadsheet, I'm going to pull up the DAX market, which is traded in Eurex. And again, you can see with a quick click on the strategy that I've already built, I get the market data in the trading interface in the middle. And as well, I've got the chart in the middle reflecting the market data for that synthetic strategy. Essentially, we can do this with any of the windows within CQG through the linking functionality. On the trading interface on the right, we can also see that I have the DAX rollover. Essentially, it's the exchange-based calendar spread. I have the chart information coming in on the chart below for the exchange-based DAX calendar spread. Looks like most of the trading activity has been through -90 and -70. I can quickly make determinations of where I want to work orders based on that. choosing to work the offer at 75 in one click. Within the order ticket there, I also see that working order. Again, it's a strategy I've named DAX rollover. Choosing the lower level now, I'm going to bid this at -85. And I'm getting some fills here. As you see reflected on the trading interface on the right, the position that I've attained in the strategy will also show up if there's a relative exchange-based spread. In that case, I got short at -75, while the exchange-based product was offered at -80. So for taking the legging risk, I've gotten the ability to actually put the spread on at a level better than where I could have done it on the exchange-based contract. Here I'm using our iceberg functionality. I have the ability in this case to work that offer of 3. I'm placing the order only showing the public book one at a time, so I can see the working orders there in the order ticket. And in terms of the way the iceberg functionality works, I'm only showing the public book a 1-by-1 spread, and as soon as I'm cleanly filled on the 1-by-1 spread, it'll reload essentially for another 1-by-1. It allows me to work some larger size, but I don't have to hang myself out there for a total of 3. Here I get 1 fill. As I mentioned, and I quickly got the other side. So in this synthetic model, basically I'm buying this at -85, and I'm getting short at -75. So I'm buying with the bid based on where the exchange-based spread is, and I'm actually getting in the offer short at 75, a little bit better than where the exchange-based spread is. In addition, the order ticket's multi-tabbed. As we see here, I've changed tabs. We can have up to 4 tabs open at one time. We have the ability to pull in market data from several different asset classes, from several different exchanges around the world. So in that case, I've got the DAX calendar spread. I just brought up the E-mini S&P traded on Globex. Going back to that DAX spread now, exchange-based spread, you can see I'm long at -85, synthetically using our CQG spreader, and I'm working to sell that market again at -75, as we see as an iceberg order, 1 filled, and I'm working another total of 2. So essentially with that iceberg algorithm, it's also server side. Get filled on the 1 lot. Essentially once I'm cleanly filled on both legs, it will replace that order with another 1-by-1. The information also populates the orders and positions window, which I have here. I'm viewing the summary tab. In the summary tab, I will see all of the symbols that I've traded today. I'll see any open position that I have, including any buy-side fills, sell-side fills. I can also see the P&L and any open trade equity I have in each one of those legs. And we also do an estimate on the volume ratio and total of messages that you're sending to a futures exchange. Very good to hand, you know, if you're watching your messaging ratios and you're trying to stay within the exchange benchmark ratio limits, then that's a good thing to have open and viewing throughout the trading session. We move into another asset class here. I'm taking a look at crude oil. I can remember trading this time. It was a very fast market. If anybody's traded crude oil, you know that it moves very quickly. Just showing essentially how quick we can place an order and find a level. We have the ability to work stop orders as well. In this case, I'm long a 1 lot at 98.35. My position appears at the top of the trading interface. Just got out of that position below the market. And as we explained earlier as well, with the order display functionality, or actually this order display study turned on, we can see where I've bought and sold the crude contract there. Going back into the market now, 98.29. I get long again. Looking at the market, going from there, I believe that it was a great position to put on. I've got a target order up above at 98.37. Just showing an example of the drag and drop functionality through the trading interface. Again, just going back to the notion of stop orders, we have the ability to place stop orders. We have also the CQG stop orders, which are a DOM-triggered stop order. You have the ability to actually monitor the market and elect to have your stop executed based on what's left in the book. So for example, you don't want to be stopped out on a one-lot trade near a high of the day or something like that. You have the ability to set a threshold on your stop order saying once there's, for example, less than 10 left in the book and we have a trade, then execute my stop order. I'm showing the linking functionality, but I actually got filled on the upside. So we have the ability to link orders or OCO orders from within the trading interface. I believe in the next order I attempt to get long again, 98.19. The position is highlighted from within the trading interface. The position is also shown near the top of the trading interface. I've got a stop order below, 98.10, and a target order up above, and I got stopped out, unfortunately, on that. As the market makes new low, I go back into the market here again. I believe I get long again, 98 even. Again, position reflected in the trading interface. Long, green from 98 even. I've got a target order, again, now up above the market, 98.09. And I've placed my stop order below the market. This is just a plain stop. I can see the orders working actually as levels. I can see the working orders from the orders and positions book. And I have the ability to link those orders as well. Some of the Eurodollar traders out there or some of the treasury traders like the ability to link orders because if you're trading yield curve or if you're trading crude oil, quite often to put a spread on, you'd be happy to do it in the January market. You might want to put the spread on in a February market, March market. It doesn't matter. What you can do is actually work orders in the Jan market, Feb market, and March market, link those orders using our OCO functionality, and then as you get filled in one market, it will either cancel the order in the other market, or if you're getting partial fills, you have the ability to actually shave those orders that are working in the other markets. In this case here, I was successful to get long again at 97.94. Up above, working the 3-lot. And down below here, the 3-lot stop order, which I've got linked. More advantageous that time, get taken on the offer for a profit, and as you can see, the stop order, which I've OCO'd, automatically gets canceled. Currently no position. See the fill information populating the summary tab of my orders and positions book. The information in the quote spreadsheet, which I've customized. It's more like an Excel spreadsheet. You can see the orders populating in there. And just another example, different asset class, taking a look at the WTI and the crude oil, which I've set up as an arbitrage strategy. So very similar contracts, very similar pricing structures. I have the ability to work this, I believe it's 2 cents below and 2 cents above, so I'm working to buy this spread strategy. If there's any misalignment essentially of those two contracts, 2 cents below and 2 cents above for an arbitrage spread strategy. Going into the trading interface on the right-hand side, I have the ability again to pull up the outright contract. That interface is multi-tabbed. In that January crude, I can see that I'm getting filled here. So I'm actually short that one from a price of 2. And I'm going to try to work to buy it back here at 2, a negative 2. Or I could drag and drop that order in this synthetic trading interface to a better price, actually to 0. So I've gotten short at positive 2 here. I'm going to work to get out of this at 0. So it's actually got those 2 contracts, server core, listening to my logic, server side, and executing these as fast as possible. Open position, again, shown in the summary tab of the orders and positions book. Position will also appear in the strategy chart and working orders as well. So essentially what we can do utilizing the CQG spreader is build a strategy. It could be multiple asset classes, it could be from different exchanges, it could be very similar products like the E-mini Ds contract against the E-mini March contract. We have the ability to pull currencies in. In this case, I'm looking at the euro currency. We have the outrights coming in there into the trading interface. I have the ability to quickly click on probably one of 16 different exchanges and pull market data and trade routing information into the trading interface as we see. Very quick, efficient workspace. And we see how that information just populates through the rest of the CQG infrastructure. So again, server side, co-located, very, very fast, built for speed. The ability to pull in multiple asset classes, the ability to pull in multiple different exchanges, build custom spread strategies, all within the CQG spreader system.
Hey Kevin, it's Big Mike. I've got a question for you. What about backtesting?
Certainly.
What can be done in terms of testing these models that you come up with historically?
We do have a backtesting suite that's built within CQG. The spread bar that we see that I've constructed in the video, I'll just come back to this video. As we see here, the spread bar is constructed based on time and sales of those two outright legs. So it's very, very intense information. Backtesting usually will be on a day-to-day bar basis. So we have the ability to do that utilizing historical day bar data. May have some intraday data for certain contracts, but looking at the spread as I have it here is very, very granular, and backtesting would probably be based on day information. We do have another product specialist here as well that just deals with backtesting. He's an expert. Glad to help you out with any backtesting adventures you may have.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So I'm just going to flip back to the PowerPoint, if you bear with us for just a second, and be interested in taking any questions at this time.
So I see a couple questions, if you got them on your side, but pricing is one of the questions. You know, how much is it? Everyone wants to know how much it is. And I want to add to that question, is there any type of demo, like a trial period that you guys offer with this or not?
Yeah, certainly. The pricing, I would love to leave it for a salesperson to give you more specifics. As a ballpark, I believe that CQG Spreader with integrated client and the charting, sort of an all-in, is under $2,000. I believe that CQG Spreader just by itself is around $1,400.
Okay. And the trial periods, do you have something like that?
And the second part of that question again was, again, Mike?
Do you have any kind of trial, 2-week trial, 30-day trial, or not so much?
Yes, of course. There is a 2-week trial period. During the 2-week trial period, it's very customary for me to work with the person who's interested in the CQG Spreader system. I can help understand what your business needs are, what exchanges you're trading, what asset classes you're interested in. I can work with you through that period to build custom strategies, help you with the functionality and the features, and really leveraging the CQG system.
Okay.
Some folks as well, some folks really enjoy test driving the system, utilizing our live market data in a simulated environment. This is really handy. It'll allow you to build a workspace, build your spread strategies. It'll allow you to float orders in a simulated environment to become familiar with the CQG system without actually risking any equity. Other folks that I work with go straight away into a live trading account, and they're up and running very quickly.
Okay. So how much access do I get to you and your team, for answering questions like on some of the programming syntax and those kind of things, as a monthly subscriber? Is there any extra fees, or is it all inclusive?
No, that's what I do. That's what I love doing, is working with the traders, anything from individual traders, trading desks, proprietary trading shops. I worked with hedge funds to achieve what they're trying to get done. That's just part of what I do on a day-to-day basis. So what I call it in the beginning is kind of like hand-holding. If you're in Chicago, or if you're somewhere around the Chicagoland area, I can even work with you one-on-one. I understand you've got clients probably around the United States. I've got clients that are around the globe. So I also utilize the GoToWebinar or Citrix or something like that to work remotely with our client base. And you have access to me going forward, as well as our 24-hour CQG spreader support that basically moves with the sun. So you've got a support person there if you need. You've got me if it has questions to do with functionality, with features, with how to build strategies, with how to get to your business model and achieve what you want to get done.
Okay. I see a question here from Sam, and I had the same question. What happens if we lose communication between the platform, so the client side, and the CQG core server side?
Certainly. That's a great question. I get that asked a lot. With some client-side systems, if you're in a power failure situation, if you've got bad storms like we had here in the summer in Chicago, it could be real problematic. One of the things that happens is when your client, for whatever reason, maybe your child unplugs the power to the PC, maybe you spill coffee on your PC, whatever it is, we continue to monitor that market data and modify your strategy legs based on that current market data. So in other words, if you lose connectivity, your order still remains updated and modified based on your strategy requirements, which again sit server side, right? They're not sitting client side.
So even if I was doing like what you showed, even if I was doing like what you showed with the Bollinger Band reversion, even something like that based on an indicator, if I shut down the client, that logic is still server side?
That's correct.
That's awesome. Love it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do see that there's some other questions out here as well. One of the questions, I'm just kind of looking through a list in regards to CQG, and somebody taking a look at it about a year or so ago, and the question was, how much has it changed? I would say it's changed considerably. I work with the development staff to continue to grow the functionality, to continue to grow the feature set that's within the CQG Spreader platform. I would say it's definitely, if you haven't looked at it in a year, it's definitely worthwhile to get in touch with me or a salesperson at CQG, and I'd be glad to do a demonstration and gear the demonstration towards the exchanges that you're looking at or the asset classes that you're looking at trading or your specific trading style.
Okay, great. And Kevin, do you educate me a little bit? Are you specializing just in the spreader, or if any of these guys have general CQG trader questions, would they still be able to ask you, or is that better served someone else?
I'm happy to answer questions regarding either the CQG Trader product, which is kind of our light product, the CQG Trader product for trading outright, not currently for spreading. I'm pretty proficient at questions in regards to utilizing or leveraging our API. There's a lot of examples and samples that we provide through the CQG website. We've got API support here that just deals with working with code. I'm not a coder. I'm more of a trader. But I also, work with folks that just different range of trading styles, different range of business models that folks are involved in. So I'm happy to address any questions. And if I can't answer the question, I'll certainly find somebody who has the answer for you if it is in regards to either another portion of the CQG suite or our other product, CQG Trader.
Great, excellent. I see a couple more questions also, if you can answer those.
Certainly. I'm just scrolling through some of the questions. I see a question here from a fella asking which contracts are more spread traded. I gave an example of looking at the E-mini S&P. I believe I brought in some other indices there just as example from Eurex Exchange. I also listed in those examples some of the currencies or FX contracts, and just an example pulling in the oil and the gold from Tocom and the Nikkei from SGX. In regards to the folks that I work with, there's a lot of folks that are trading grains. There's a lot of folks that are trading equity indices, the Russell on ICE, E-mini S&P, mid-cap, NASDAQ. There's folks that are spreading the FX products. So there's a lot of stuff out there that's very viable to trade, but certainly working with a lot of folks, really in my exposure all over the board, but more recently a lot of folks spreading the agricultural products and the interest rate products, mid-curve, 5-year, 10-year, 7-year. I work with a lot of cash traders that trade basis, trade cash and futures. So it really just depends on what your trading style is. I can certainly help you stay away from things that may not be viable for you or for your trading style. It's really just a matter of getting to know the trader and ask some of those questions as I work with you in the first couple weeks of trialing our system.
And I know that you briefly talked about messaging limits, and you can keep an eye on them, but is there anything that you can do from a programming language or code standpoint to keep you within limits, or is there anything that the platform will do to prevent you from, a rule violation?
That's a great question as well. We see as electronic trading becomes more and more proficient in these exchanges, the exchange is pushing back and really kind of getting folks to monitor how many messages or updates. Essentially, a message is a modification. When you place an order, it's a message to the exchange. When you cancel an order, it's a message to the exchange. So what we've done is we've built in a few things to help mitigate that. One of the first things that I wanted to mention, which I don't think I mentioned in the demonstration earlier, is that within the CQG Spreader setup parameters, we have the ability to work both legs. That would essentially equate to the most messaging because you're actually floating orders and modifying orders in two different markets. You have the ability to work only one leg, which reduces the messaging somewhat because you're only working an active order in one market, and then that order gets modified based on the market activity in the monitored market. As well, we have the ability to work no legs. Essentially, in this modality, it's like a sniper mode. Again, your logic sitting server side, we're acquiring that market data very quickly, and in sniper mode, you're not showing the public book any orders, so thus no messaging, until that spread actually comes in line to you. This is good for brokers that want to work orders that are off the market and don't necessarily want to float orders that are perhaps, say, 7 or 10 ticks away from the best bid offer. You can do that utilizing our sniper mode by showing no legs. In addition to the working order legs, whether you're showing one, both, or none, within the messaging section of the setup trading parameters from the spread, we have the volume multiplier field, which will determine the size of a working order based on a percentage of resting volume available in queue of the monitored leg. This will help to mitigate some of your messaging issues. As I mentioned as well, the working threshold parameters which can be configured, which tells our system to work an order if and only if the available quantity in that monitored leg is and remains greater than the value you configure in there. Essentially, it's a threshold that would shut your strategy on or off based upon the availability of that volume in that monitored market. And as well, minimum size increment, which would be the third thing under our messaging, which basically tells the system to place an order only if the quantity available in the monitored leg is at least that much, and then to modify a working order only if the quantity available in the monitored leg increases by that much. So you can configure what you're looking for an increase in the monitor market before you actually go ahead and increase your working order size. That will help reduce messaging as well. I can give specific examples if folks want to talk to me offline regarding specific markets and some other experiences that I've had with setting those messaging parameters.
And just for my own education, because I'm a novice when it comes to spreading, does the exchange count if you get filled, is that counted towards your messaging limits, or is it only for cancellations?
I believe that any message, whether it's placing an order, canceling an order, or modifying an order, would count as a message. Now, of course, a fill is going to count as a match, so that's where we develop those ratios. And those are, again, just an approximation of what's happening on the client side. We're just giving you an approximation, though.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just looks like one final question here that came in near the end. Fella's asking, how good or how lengthy is the documentation? We do have documentation. I consider it fairly lengthy. Most traders that I work with don't want to sit and read a 65-page user guide, but we do have that if you're interested. It covers all the functionality and usability within the CQG Spreader product. In addition to that, the one that I like to put out a little bit more is the Quick Reference Guide. The Quick Reference Guide is just a two-pager, and the Quick Reference Guide will assist with getting the spread formula constructed, with getting any of the tick size configured, and then, as I mentioned, through the setup trading parameters, the spread properties, how that spread's going to get worked, the messaging parameters that I just spoke about, proportional execution, if you want to utilize queue holders, and then the if incomplete behavior, which I mentioned as well. So that's the two pieces of documentation I usually leave people with. Number one, the full-blown spreader user guide, and number two, just a two-pager, which is handy to print out and have it there in front of you when you're configuring sort of the meat and potatoes of how your spread is going to get worked. And just a couple more questions coming in, not related to spread. Questions being asked in regards to DTN product. I would prefer that I take a look at the DTN product that you are comparing us to in regards to volume and give you a more accurate answer. The question has to do with how the DTN system shows volume, and if our data feed is similar or accurate, I'll have to actually research that product if you want to address that question to me, or any other questions going forward. I can be reached here at CQG in Chicago, and emails are probably the best way to find me. Email address is listed here in the webinar, kevinf, Kevinf, @cqg.com. And I'd be glad to have any other questions, or if somebody's interested in doing a demo, I can always arrange to do that with you. One final question looks coming in. Fella's got a question in regards to option spreads. I'm very happy to tell you that we will be having functionality to trade options contracts within our spreader environment very soon. I would say that the option spreading functionality currently is in beta. I've actually traded options utilizing our spreader and currently available for Globex products only, and I can continue to go through some more of the details with that. Or if you're interested in talking to me about spreading options, we can do that offline as well, as it can become quite complex and lengthy conversation. But I'm excited to say that we do have the ability to trade Globex options, and that's in beta currently.
All right, Kevin. Well, a very good presentation. I want to thank you for all the details. It answered a lot of questions that I had, and then for your time to answer any that weren't covered in the presentation. And then just a real brief recap. So for everybody that's in the room, you can get CQG Trader through Velocity, and you can get CQG Spreader through Velocity, but you're going to have to pay for it. Okay. So if you want to get those things through Velocity, you can. If you have any questions for Kevin about anything to do with CQG, there is his email address right there. And there's also a thread on the forum for this webinar. So if you guys have questions, you can post them in there. And I know that there's a couple guys from CQG that monitor the forum, or I can always keep an eye on the thread and shoot an email to Kevin if something comes up. All right, guys.
That sounds great.
Yeah, so thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Bob. And I really appreciate you guys being here once again. And we'll do it again soon.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your time. And I want to thank everybody who's registered and who has spent their afternoon listening to me. Really appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at kevinf@cqg.com.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a great evening. Cheers.